Let's dive straight into the heart of St. James Park and talk about the burning topic of this January transfer window, Eddie Howe's perspective on the club's recruitment policy. It's a critical time for the Toon Army as the team navigates a challenging scenario with limited financial flexibility under Premier League spending regulations, PSR. While some fans may be concerned, there's more to the story. And Eddie Howe's unwavering leadership remains the Magpies' guiding light. Newcastle United have not made a single signing this January to bolster Eddie Howe's squad. In fact, the transfer news that has dominated headlines recently is about Miguel Almiron. Yes, our beloved Paraguayan dynamo is reportedly on his way back to Atlanta United in the MLS with a deal worth $10 million. For many fans, this raises concerns about the squad's depth, especially as Newcastle fights to secure another season in the Champions League. But let's unpack this situation a bit further. Eddie Howe understands the bigger picture. It's no secret that the club has been taking a cautious approach in the transfer market, avoiding the kind of financial risks that could backfire later. Howe agrees with the club's recruitment strategy, recognizing that while the January window presents opportunities, it's not the right time to gamble. PSR limits are real, and the club's management is playing the long game to ensure Newcastle's financial health in the years to come. But let's not sugarcoat it. This cautious approach has its downsides. Howe has openly spoken about the challenges of not being able to refresh the squad, especially after losing key players like Elliot Anderson and Yankuba Minter in the summer. The fear of the squad going stale is real, and it's a concern that Eddie Howe has to manage day in and day out. Yet, despite these challenges, Howe continues to exceed expectations. He's managed to work wonders with what he has, proving time and again that he's the right man for the job. But here's the twist. If things go wrong on the pitch, it's crucial that the blame doesn't fall squarely on Howe. The reality is that he's working with a squad that hasn't seen significant upgrades in over 2 years. And that's something the club's officials and fans alike need to keep in mind. The January transfer window isn't completely shut, and miracles can happen in football. However, unless a perfect deal presents itself, a player who ticks all the boxes without breaking the bank, Newcastle are unlikely to bring in any reinforcements. It's frustrating, sure, but it's also a sign of a club that's thinking strategically about its future. Looking ahead to the summer, there's hope that Newcastle will be in a stronger position to invest. The Magpies are building something special, and while patience is never easy for passionate fans like us, it's a virtue we might need to embrace. After all, we've waited years for this club to rise again, and under Eddie Howe's leadership, we're closer than ever to reclaiming our place among the Premier League elite. Stay hopeful, Toon Army. Eddie Howe has proven he can lead this team through thick and thin, and we're still on track to achieve something remarkable this season. The January transfer window isn't just about outfield players. Our goalkeeper situation has taken centre stage, and it's shaping up to be a critical talking point for Newcastle United. As we all know, a reliable goalkeeper can make or break a season, and the Magpies find themselves in a fascinating position with Martin Dubravka, Nick Pope, and a potential new name, James Trafford from Burnley. Let's rewind a bit. The transfer saga surrounding Martin Dubravka has been a roller coaster ride. At one point, it looked like he was heading to the Saudi Pro League to join Al-Shabaab. There was even an emotional moment between Dubravka and the fans after our Carabao Cup win against Arsenal, a clear sign that something big was about to happen. But just when we thought we had seen the last of Dubravka in a Newcastle shirt, the narrative shifted. After discussions with Eddie Howe, Dubravka is now reportedly happy to stay at the club. Dubravka's form has been nothing short of stellar in Nick Pope's absence. 7 clean sheets in 10 games? That's the kind of consistency that makes a goalkeeper indispensable. But here's the catch. His contract situation is still up in the air. With just 6 months left, the question is whether he'll see out his contract and leave in the summer, or if the club will offer him an extension. This decision will heavily influence whether Newcastle make a move for James Trafford. Now let's talk about James Trafford. The Burnley shot-stopper has been in sensational form under Scott Parker this season, keeping an incredible 18 clean sheets in the Championship. At just 22 years old, Trafford is a goalkeeper for the future, and his performances have caught the attention of Newcastle's recruitment team. He's young, he's talented, and he fits the profile of a player who could serve the club for years to come. But there's a complication. PSR strikes again. Signing Trafford would cost Newcastle around $20 million, a significant sum considering the club's current financial constraints. That's why any move for Trafford hinges on resolving Dubravka's situation first. If Dubravka decides to stay for another year, the urgency to sign a new goalkeeper diminishes. On the other hand, if he leaves, the Magpies will need to act quickly to secure Trafford's signature. There's also the matter of Newcastle's other goalkeepers. Odysseas Vlachodimos, who has only played once this season, was linked with a move to Al-Shabaab, but Newcastle rejected the approach earlier this week. Meanwhile, Mark Gillespie and John Ruddy are both out of contract in the summer, leaving the goalkeeping department in a state of flux. Trafford has a lot to offer, but he's not without his flaws. His kicking, for example, isn't his strongest asset, with a pass completion rate of just 70.7%. It's a similar issue to Nick Pope, who also struggles with the ball at his feet. However, what Trafford lacks in distribution, he makes up for with his shot-stopping ability and commanding presence in the box. For $20 million, he could be a worthwhile investment, but only if the timing and circumstances align. Newcastle's cautious approach in this transfer window is evident in the goalkeeping department as well. The club is prioritising long-term stability over short-term gains, and while that might frustrate some fans, it's a strategy that could pay dividends down the line. At the end of the day, the decision comes down to whether Newcastle want to gamble in January or wait until the summer to reassess their options. With Dubravka performing well and Trafford waiting in the wings, Eddie Howe and his team have some tough choices to make. Whatever happens, one thing is certain: Newcastle United are building something special, and the Toonami will continue to back the team through every twist and turn. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. Until next time, keep believing. This is Newcastle United, the greatest club in the world. Away the lads!